everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of Coffee Talk with Jott-Nyx Paranormal. It's me, Mallory, and my co-host, David. If you all didn't hear, we had some exciting stuff happen last week at Bube's Brewery. We're still here. We made it through all the craziness, but that's some stuff we're going to talk about later.
You say boobies.
I did. I said Bube's Brewery here in Mountjoy. So right now we're going to introduce one of our team members, Matt, from Jott-Nyx Paranormal.
Matt's one of our OG investigators, and he's also now our public relations director.
I got you.
So with that, we're gonna kind of transition into meeting Matt, and we also have a couple of other investigations that we're gonna tease. For example, did you do something this past week, Mallory?
We did. Dale, me, and Jerry and Melissa went to Crescent Sanatorium. So we'll be discussing that on our next podcast at the beginning of September.
All right, Freddie foreshadowing. Now, we're gonna get into Matt.
So Matt, what got you into being on a paranormal team, or why do you want to investigate scary places?
They're scary.
Yeah, some places.
They come out and touch you. I don't know. I had experiences when I was young. I had multiple experiences. One being as young as 3, where my mom put me to bed to take a nap, and I didn't take a nap. And she comes up. What are you doing? I said, what are these people watching me? They say, do what I normally do. And apparently I had to describe her mother and father. But I've never met them. They both passed away before I was born. So that's just one incident. Had multiple other stuff. We went to did the Jenny Wade house a couple times. Did that in 2019 over the 4th of July. Ironic. When we got all the guys was there, but my daughter just got into it. So and then I ran into my job. I ran into Missy and found out she's running these actual investigations, not just like a ghost tour. Where they're just like, oh, this happened here, this happened there. It's like when you're actually doing it, it's a totally different experience. I mean, it does give you chills the first couple times, and then afterwards, instead of running away from it, you're running towards it.
Running away from it, running over women, running.
We're not going to mention that. We're not going to talk about sleeping with lights on. We can talk about that later, but
So, that was going to be my first question. How did you come into contact with the group? Because
that was Missy with my job.
Right.
Or you met her at? I was working for AT&T at the time. No plug. But she was living above the carriage house in the Haldeman Mansion and moving there. So I just happened to run into her, and then she was talking about it. And I was like, hold on. I was like, this person happened to be Andrew. So it just kind of fell into it when after COVID happened, finally getting to do it. And then Andrew was like, hey, do you want to do this? And that was it. I mean, started doing it, started doing more, help out the juniors and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty much how it happened.
There was a funny comment. I thought she said, oh, okay. I thought she said, congrats on joining the team. I'm not sure. You've been on the team for a little bit now, right?
I've been on the team longer than you two.
Yes.
I'm the OG. One of them.
So you had that. When it comes to Boobies here. You have a kind of special relationship with one of the spirits here.
You could say. I mean, obviously, it's because my daughter's around, Ani's age.
I only mention it because when I'm investigating up here with you, and we're in the family quarters right now. We're in Bube's Brewery's hotel side. For those of you that don't know, we're in the ballroom. And this used to be the family quarters for the Bube family, and the rooms have been retrofitted to make a ballroom out of it. But the family quarters were here, the mom and dad's quarters, the girls' quarters were around the corner. And Matt had, when I'm investigating with Matt, it's a hard time for me to get Ani's attention when Matt's here. It doesn't matter whether Chloe's here. It's even harder when Chloe's here. But when Matt's here, it's almost a lost cause to try because for whatever reason, I feel like Ani has a special connection.
Yeah, as of recently, I can tell you it hasn't been as strong, but that's because I kind of pissed off Eloise a couple times. There's a couple people he doesn't like, So I mean, that's just one of the things. I think that's becoming a block, as trying to find a way around it, just to we understand both sides to a point, but it's
and maybe,
still protective.
I was gonna say approaching him as a dad, like you're a dad, he's a dad.
I mean, I understand. I'm a dad, but there's not gonna go into what we think, because it's a sore subject,
right?
But yeah, but just protecting, it's what I'll do. And Missy and I have talked about it before. The founder of Jott-Nyx, we'll take her home. You're not gonna hurt her. So I looked him right. We were back in the hallway. Not to get off track, back in the hallway, it's just like pitch black around my face, but I can see the one recorder going that Jerry likes now. That ended up later on when we played it in reverse. You don't play things in reverse, but when it does, "We Will Rock You," it's kind of funny. But at the same time, we're, I told him, "You're a bitch." I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but that's what happened. I mean, that night he actually, possibly, spooked the 7-year-old that was here, and it was heart wrenching. I mean, even to go back and listen to that recording, it's heart wrenching, and it's like it puts you in a place. That's where you protect, the living and the young ones.
Okay.
So,
all right. So moving on to your position as our public relations director, what do you do? Give us a little bit of an idea what you do for us in that regard.
Well, I got thrown into it, but it's all right. But I guess it's because I reach out, I work, and it just happens to talk about it. Like when you're sitting there doing somebody's phone and you're just trying to find that common interest and talk, sometimes it gets into that. And believe it or not, people are like, "Oh my God, you do that? That's crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, but what you see on TV is not always, true." I should say some of it's scripted. Sometimes don't want to step on toes, but yeah, it's just reaching out to people. And now I guess the job is to get the task of reaching out more to even higher up people, because as this is growing and stuff, names are out there. I'm not gonna say names, but names are out there.
Right.
So it's just, trying to, I guess, coordinate that to, promote this place, promote the team, and continue. So,
okay.
Kind of fresh, new with it,
So
I was going to bring up more of any interesting places that you've been to. I know recently you were at the Shanley Hotel. If you want to tell us a little bit about that place, that's somewhere I've never been, and maybe somewhere that we'll go as a team eventually.
Yeah, we went to the Shanley. It was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. But definitely, it was just reached out by our sister team and wanting to do something, was looking for, something that, where the little one could go to that was safe, and just got reached out. And I was like, okay, why not? Long, boring 4-hour drive from where I live. Definitely, long and boring, especially when you get past the Poconos into the good old national forest or registered areas. So
where's this located? The Shanley?
It's in New York.
Go ahead and try to pronounce it.
I ain't gonna butcher it. It's in New York.
It's Napanoch, New York.
Napanoch,
New York.
What are they knocking on?
Yes. Nothing. There's nothing in the town other than a Walmart and the Shanley.
There's a Walmart there?
Yeah, there's a Walmart there. It's right around the corner from the Shanley.
No, I'm joking, because they said there was a Walmart. You go to Walmart, like, there's a Walmart there. Like, literally, I saw a Dollar General, McDonald's, CVS, whatever, and some places to eat. It's very limited. I can say they were, if you ever get a chance to go, they definitely, you don't have to worry about snacks. You don't got to worry about breakfast, drinks. I mean, they actually provide that.
That's
with
the
it.
important thing about
cool.
investigating,
right?
Yeah,
you got snacks, you got that sugar, whether it's Mountain Dew, whatever, whatever it is.
Now, do they still provide, like when I was, there's a bunch of the members of our team that have been there. Missy and Jerry were there in 2019 or 2018.
19.
Was it 2019? Couldn't have been 2019 because I had to be there 2019. or I had to be there in 2018 because 2019 was the year prior to joining the group. So 2018, they were there 3 weeks before I was there, and then we have they provided the equipment much like we do here. Did they provide equipment?
Oh yeah, they had it, but they saw that. I mean, when it came down to going over the rules, I mean, they kind of were like, the rules. You know what you're doing. You have equipment. Is there any extra equipment you want? They saw all the equipment that Tim has. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a lot. He's a tech guy. But all the equipment he had, and then the stuff that I bring, and they're like, oh, I guess you don't need nothing. So.
We should mention.
Cameras punched
I was going to say Tim and Erica are our sister team, the Jott-Nyx Paranormal New Jersey. So if you're interested, you can look them up too on Facebook.
Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
Jersey.
Let's talk about the Shanley historically, because we all got the same history. We don't, not go through the actual. It was built in the 1800s. And plenty of famous people have made their way through there. Specifically, the Roosevelts. Eleanor
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison. Now, I couldn't find a reason, and I called them twice this week and couldn't get through to anybody to try to find out why Thomas Edison was there.
He was just intrigued by the place.
Is that it?
That's what they said. He was just, and what I think I found right before, because I think Chloe loves the history, so she was looking up and she was like, Thomas Edison was there. Why was he here? So he was intrigued with like the place, the ambiance. I mean, it was like here at Bube's Brewery. I mean, it was the hotel, but it was a place to gather, good dinners, good meals, good parties.
Well, it's a hunting town. It's just a hunting town.
It's literally just out of town.
And that's why Teddy used to go up there, because he was going to go hunting, and then
Eleanor
would visit with Mrs. Shanley.
Yeah, they became real good friends. They were actually at her the inaugural ball.
Right.
They actually went down to DC for that. So they were very intrigued. She actually has a room which Tim and Erica stayed in.
Oh, they stayed in Eleanor's room?
They stayed in Eleanor's room with the lights on.
So let's go through your investigation there. Did you probably gathered in the meeting room, like the main lobby, right before you?
Obviously when we got there, they let us in. They checked us in. We signed waivers. Like if you fall through a floor, it's not our fault. But they do block you off in those type of areas.
Do they still have the part of the waiver about Eleanor Roosevelt about making the jokes? About maybe not. They may not have that because
you got a dad joke coming on.
No. This is like when we went. When you guys went. When we went, we were told we couldn't make any of the jokes like the Wedding Crashers jokes. You remember the movie Wedding Crashers, where the grandmother was making the jokes about Eleanor Roosevelt? They told us in very plain terms, like, you don't make any of those jokes here because it can get really bad really quick.
Oh.
And so that was part of the waiver.
Maybe I didn't read the waiver very much. I ain't gonna lie. I just signed my life away. I'm like, it is what it is, If I don't make it out of here, okay, so be it. So,
Chad, can we get the pictures? We'll just take them.
Were there pictures?
We'll just take them through a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
I know we were talking before this too, and you had mentioned how when you came over, didn't you say you came over like a mountain, and it was just like this town showed up out of nowhere?
Pretty much, yeah. Like it was out of nowhere, and I didn't know what to expect. The type of neighborhood that we were in. I mean, it's quiet. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it started to boom and storm. So that was pretty neat because I routes everything up. Yeah. I mean, like you've seen that picture, like you show up, it's a raggy. They're trying to build it back up, just like with the money and the supplies. But it's like you look at it, it's like this is a hostel.
And you have to understand that years ago, it looked nowhere near as good as you saw it. I looked into probably 5 years ago. I looked into going there, and it was in the time between when the owner died and someone else had ownership of it. I don't remember exactly who it was.
They were flippers.
The current ownerships had, the person that I'm talking about, she was the one that removed all of the fire alarms, so she could smoke inside. And the place was in horrible disrepair. Gotcha. And even when I was by myself looking to take a trip and go to somewhere like this, it was one of those places where I was cautioned to kind of stay away from at that time because it was a dump. Now it's been completely refurbished. We went right after they reopened for guests after they did the remodeling, and you've described to me that they've done tons of remodeling since.
It's nice. I mean, 4 of us had. I can't even tell you how many rooms and cubby holes and places you can find to like go, but it's. I mean, they take you in. You go into the little meeting room, the kitchen, whatever they call it. That's just like your home base where you can have drinks. And then, it's great. They take you in the seance room. I don't know if they took you in what they call the seance room is actually the original kitchen.
Right. Yep.
They take you in there.
How many floors are in the house? Is it just 2? Like,
one side, like when you first walk in, you walk up steps, second floor. Then you can walk up to the attic. That's 3rd floor. There's rooms up there where the Thomas Edison room is.
Okay.
The serial killer's room.
See, that wasn't
there, so that you could do that. And then if you go around through the kitchen and go out through there you'll find the scarring mirror. You'll find the gentleman's club. You'll go up where it was originally the apartment of the barber that worked there. Then was the brothel, or bordella. And you go up, up there, and there's like 3 rooms and like a little loft area. So there's like
crazy staircase to get up there.
I had to duck.
You do, or you're gonna smack your face up.
Every time I walked up, up and down, I was like, I'm gonna hit.
So what we're looking at right now on the screen, that's the outside. Chad, can we move over to the next picture? This is your door.
It's funny, Tim got locked down.
I was going to say, was it open? Like, did you
have
to wait
he had to open it and leave it open. He didn't do anything special. It just happened we were in the seance room. He got something over the SD's method, like locked doors or something like that. He got all freaked out, thought he locked his keys or didn't lock his car. So he walked out, and Erica's on it, and she hears like shoot him or something like that. We're like, what? She had a special attachment with one of the spirits there. But he literally walked out, and he said he went to go grab the door, and the door closed shut. And so every time we walked out after that, we took the doormat and stuffed it in just so when it closed shut. Because if you get locked out, you get locked out.
Right. There's no key to get
There's
back.
no key. You have to get let in. So we were sitting there for like 10 minutes, and I was like, where's Tim? Like it wasn't where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? No, it was where's Tim?
Wow, that sounds familiar. It's like,
I wonder how they get in the morning then for work. Like,
I mean,
do they just lock it, or is someone there overnight?
The workers have keys.
But
they don't have 24-hour front desk. They don't have like everything.
Like here.
The check-in is like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and the check-in's in the store right off of off of the entrance, and then that's it. Then you're there by yourself, and if you get locked out, you get locked out. You're just shit out of luck.
Well, they actually, I guess the lady that owns it. It now, and her husband stay in the 1 second floor, and then the lady kind of like what Missy and Jerry do sometimes, and they stay overnight or pay attention. She actually slept in the room between where Chloe and I stayed and Tim and Erica stayed. So she actually stays in there. So if you need anything, you can knock.
Is that the old silent room? The silent room? Is that?
No, not the silent room. It wasn't the silent room. It's the one in between Rose's and the Eleanor room.
Most of the rooms in this hotel have specific names. There's the silent room. They all have stories connected to them. If you ever get a chance to go there, they will regale you with the history and the stories behind all these rooms. So the next picture. All right. So we were talking about this is the back. This is I think this was one of my pictures. This is if you on the right hand side right there is the bottom part is the gentleman's quarters. The top part is the loft and the bordello, the brothel, and that's where you have Annie. Madison and Rosie's room.
Yep.
I was going to say the Walmart then behind the trees.
No, the Walmart's this way.
Oh, okay.
There's also a max security prison there too. So
behind it.
Somewhere around there.
It's close. It's not far away. All right, and then next picture. All right, so this is inside the gentleman's quarters. Those are the wingback chairs. All right, so when I was there, now we had our first stop was because I stayed the hell away from the scarring mirror and the altar room. But our first stop was up in the brothel, and then we came down into the gentleman's quarters. And the young lady that was with me, she was the only female, and everything gets kind of confrontational with females because females weren't allowed in that room.
It's a gentleman's club, just like down here now, the bar in Eloise.
And when I was there, we were on, how they have the 6 beds set up. So we were on the bed closest to these wingback chairs, and we had a thermal. And I didn't know, like, again, I was a novice with a lot of the equipment, but we saw there was a heat anomaly in the right-hand chair. You can see it sitting there. And I said something, and we had two mediums with us that were provided by, I believe, Ghost Hunt USA had provided, or was working with them. And when I said, "Does anybody see what's in the chair?" and they said, one of the mediums said, "You mean the black thing?" I'm like, "Okay, at least I don't feel like a psychopath." And
yeah, we didn't get much in that. We didn't get much in that room. It was the very end. Tim played poker in the corner, blackjack. Sat there. I mean, we ran the spear box a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
You had a good time up in the brothel.
That was the second area. Yeah, with the tripwires. It set that up around the. I don't know if with the other pictures.
I don't think we have one of the brothels.
Well, you have.
Oh, we have Annie's room. Yeah. There's Annie.
Yeah, so that's just like the room. I laid it on her bed. She was
were they comfy?
Prostitute, I guess you could say, working girl, whatever you want to call her. But she sat there. Apparently she likes men with beards. So I was told that I'm going to be the guy. So of course, this was the third investigation that we did after taking a break. And I went up there and I was like, let me set this tripwire after having experience with it. We took a 12-foot tripwire, I laid it around the bed, had the Phasm box going, had K2s going, set up, had the REM pot at Rosie's room, which is across at one point. And Chloe and I just laid in the bed. I was like, let's just lay down. And we had some stuff on the tripwire. I'm new to that equipment, but they'd never had anything. Didn't have it work until that day, so that was pretty cool.
Right. Well, we have a video of the tripwire. You want to cue that up?
Yeah, that
was set up upstairs. Yeah,
that was set up in the third floor of the attic.
In the third floor of the attic.
That was our second investigation that we did. We went up to the attic. We were actually sitting in the room where the Irish mobster likes to sit.
Okay,
so you don't know about that. Okay, so there's like a chair, like a high back chair, and Chloe's like, while we're learning about the rooms, she's like, go sit in that chair. I'm like, no. And then come to find out, it's like, he doesn't like no one sitting in that chair unless he allows you. And I'm like, set me up. But anyway, we're just sitting in there. And so we had the tail end of it out of the one room. We had the little children's room that was next, that was taped off because of the floor. Mm-hmm. And then we just ran it down the hallway past the serial killer's room, just back in the back. And like, again, we had cameras set up. But I went live on my actual phone, and it kept going off. So I moved to this spot. So, Chad, if you want to find that video.
All right. Got the tripwire set up down the hallway. You keep making it light up. Can you do that again for us?
Looking down.
So that right there, I just moved because it kept going off. Like there's sections, kind of just like a REM pod, the different lights. Mm-hmm. So there's sections of those spaced out, and we just kept seeing the flash in the hallway. So I was like, all right, I'm walking out, and just sat down. I don't know what it was. It kept doing it. Didn't get very many, what I would say, intelligent responses back. I'm trying to like, who are you? Light this up if it's woman, man, whatever. I'm gonna check it off. It's the cat. There's a cat that likes to run around there. Who the hell just got shot? Call the cops. Just kidding. Murder mystery. Brewery. Aloy's just shot someone. But no.
I jumped in the middle of it. I was like.
But anyway, like it.
I was gonna say with the tripwire though. I mean, the wiring in the hotel, like, could that have caused anything for it to?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't had much experience with it, so that's why I'm saying I took it as it could be like the cat.
Yeah.
So just because it would go different directions, it would go one way, go the other.
Okay.
That's like I said, that's just a short clip. So I don't know if it was like the cat running up. I threw a cat ball, and then by that time it's hot. There's no air conditioning up in the third floor, so it's you're sweating. I'm a big guy, and I was drenched in sweat.
So we need to go in the winter time, right?
I wouldn't say the winter because then you got to wear out
snow.
Yeah. Well, that plays into
white homeism.
The winter time is the reason that they used to stack the bodies in the basement of the hotel.
Oh yeah, they had the morgue.
They had the morgue, right? Because they couldn't bury the bodies. Up there in upstate New York, the ground is going to freeze, and they needed somewhere to keep the bodies, and they used to keep them in the basement of the Shanley. And then during the pandemic, the influenza pandemic in 1918, they said they had just bodies stacked down there because.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually walk in there. I didn't like it. I mean,
the basement?
Oh no, I was in the basement, but I didn't walk back to where the portal was. I just kind of stayed in the central part of the basement. I did not walk into the morgue. It was a weird smell I heard from Tim. I mean, who knows, what was going on, but I didn't get a vibe. Like, if you ever walk into a place, you just don't get a vibe.
Right.
This is one of those things where it's like, you know what, you can have that space. That's all you.
Well, you see,
but unfortunately, that part of the morgue, it was weird. They had a cross down there. I didn't actually look, like I said, I didn't look in, but what I could see, it was like a cross, and it was just like spiders. I hate spiders. So, like Missy hates bats. She'll duck and cover. No, actually, she loves them.
Even when there's no bats. So when we were there, when I was there, we transitioned from the gentleman's quarters to the basement because in the gentleman's quarters, they had they had a spirit box running. They didn't have a spasm box. They had a spirit box running, and you kept getting the basement, words pertaining to the basement. It's just pretty much basement coming out. And then that heat anomaly that we saw moved and left the room, and somebody said across the room, hey, did anybody else see the black thing leave? And then they asked me what I wanted to do next. I was like, well, if it wants to go, if something wants to go to the basement, my decision-making skills, let's go to the basement. We went down the basement, and it was the first time. It was the first time I had ever been grabbed by something, because I was there and I had my arm around the young lady I was with, and she started crying and didn't know she was crying, like the young lady did on the Halo here at Bube's. She didn't realize she was crying, and then she said she had felt this incredible wave of sadness, and I thought it was somebody standing on the other side of her grabbing at my jacket or the hoodie that I was wearing, and the gentleman that was standing had both of his hands in his pockets. I'm like, oh, okay. And I felt like I could fall asleep. Like I was like just fall asleep on my feet, and the medium standing next to me, he's like, don't do that. And then it got very confrontational down there. I'll just leave it at that. It got very confrontational, and it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm going back upstairs.
Yeah.
And that's when we transitioned up into the Eleanor room, and we didn't get to go to the third floor except for a minute to play with the kid that plays ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he likes to play ball, but like I said, it was all blocked off. I feel like we had 8, 9 cameras running. We had one, I don't know if malfunction removed. The evidence still being reviewed. So it's just like, yeah, it's an interesting place. I mean,
it is. It's one of my favorite places.
I mean, sleeping, I had minor stuff, and I just kind of was like, whatever. It was weird how I was like actually calm.
Mm-hmm. And what room did you guys stay in?
We stayed in Rose's room.
Okay, the Rose room.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one. That's the only one.
That's the one that has the girl
private bathroom.
Yeah, it's a private bathroom. It has you'll see writing postcards. So maybe she was writing postcards on the edge of the bed. I mean, I felt it like it got tight between my legs, but again, I just shrugged it off. I was just like, whatever, mind playing tricks with me? Am I just thinking this? It is what it is. Like, I just rolled over.
I don't think we slept with the lights on, but I know we had to sleep with like a noise machine, like a white noise machine going, because we just kept hearing stuff. Now, granted, we had.
I mean, I'd rather have that than lights.
Right. Well, we had somebody that was still. Our investigation ended at almost 3 a.m. and he didn't want to be done, and he was periscoping it, so he was live streaming it, and he was crawling up and down the stairs.
You said you were going to kick his ass, didn't you?
I didn't. It wasn't all that.
Few choice words.
It was aggravating because you could hear all of that through the walls as we're trying to sleep.
I mean, we had the AC blaring, so like you didn't hear nothing until the AC window unit shut off, so you didn't hear any of that.
So we didn't have to worry.
It was
we
nice.
Were in November.
Once it shut off, then I did, I heard things, but again, like there are people there Never got confirmation. So again, I just chalk it up like whatever. Roll over, go back to sleep, or try to with lights on.
All right, scale 1 to 10. Would you go back?
Oh, I definitely go back with the team. There's a lot of open, spaces to find.
Left you with a good taste in your mouth. You're just got places, other places in the hotel.
You know more, and you kind of have a base knowledge. You go in there, you go dark. You don't know what to expect. That's one thing. Try to stay away from the history and all that stuff, but you go dark and just find what you get. And that's what we like doing here. Which I think we're going to go next into about the investigations. But that's what we do here. Like, we don't tell people very much because we want them to experience it. And when they experience what we experience, then we validate. It's a validation right there. So
definitely with all, we're just gonna head right into like what we got last week here at Boobies.
Did you say Boobies again?
I did say Boobies.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying to think
what
rating
is this? I thought it was PG at first. Now it's getting more, rated R.
I guess we can start with our group. So I was with Jamie last week, and we had some interesting stuff actually happen right where we are stationed at up here for the podcast. Actually, we were more over towards, there's a little bar area. So when you come up the steps here to the Bube family's living quarters,
She said boobies.
it was Jamie, me, Melissa and Jerry kind of snuck in and was with us a little bit. And there was a couple of guests. I think we had a group of 5. So it was pretty smaller groups last week. I think for all of us, we had not a lot of people, but I think sometimes that's when we get the best stuff because they're more active and they want to come out and talk, and we're less crowded. So we were up here in the ballroom, and we had 2 K2 meters laying on one of the tables. Just kind of thought we were talking to like Pauline, who's Aloise's wife, and cause she never really comes out to talk to us. I feel like she's always hiding in the corner observing. And we were finally getting some hits with the K2 meter on that. And we had a flashlight over at the bar. At one point, just let me know if I'm telling the story. I'm trying to get it as best I can because I was talking to Pauline, who I thought the entire time, and Melissa said something about like Henry had passed through or was standing there over by the bar just kind of watching. And while I was talking, she had told me after the fact that Henry, who was one of the owners as well, had said she's nice to me about me. So that boosted my ego a lot. That the ghosts actually think I'm nice sometimes. I know. I was like, wow, they want to talk to me. And at that time, Jerry had seen like a black kind of mist walk out towards the stairs, and there was one of our guests standing there. He had felt something on the back of his neck that at that time too as well. And then another guest, like there was 4 people that had seen all of this while I was just talking, and the guest actually had his camera with. He pulled up his camera and saw the black shadow as well, and we found all this out as soon as after our session had ended. And I think that was really cool to have the guest experience something like that along with us as team members as well too. And then I had a lot of guests in our group experience some stuff last week as well. We had a gentleman, I think we have videos from him. Him and his wife were with us in one of the groups. We were down, I think they were the last 2 to finish the night with my group down in the Aloise bar. And I don't know if we have that video. We can share that as well. His name's Justin. So just saying hi to him if he's on. He sent us this video of him talking to, I think, the preacher in the Aloise bar. That's who we were picking up on. So we can share that video now if you want to.
All right, the video's on. Turn that camera back or flashlight back on for me so I can show other people. You did it once. Can you do it again? Oh. Jesus. Thank you. Holy crap. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Now can I get a rum and coke? David?
So they like to be filmed. Can you turn the flashlight off for us? Thank you.
And we're back. Hope you like that video.
It just scared me, like the gunshot downstairs.
Oh, how are you a paranormal investigator?
No.
All right, you know what? I mean, I did. I got walked in on by Missy and Jerry, and I'm just looking around. You know, I might have jumped 10 feet, you know, but I wasn't ready, you know. But the thing is, I didn't run her over. I stayed.
Well, I mean,
I didn't run away. I didn't knock her over. You know, wasn't a linebacker going after, you know, Jared Goff.
I know. Like you said, some of us are scared of the dark, and the other ones are just we just are like, what was that? And like,
I mean, I went to it, but it's not like, oh, it's like nothing was there. You just look at shit. There's a body there.
You meet all kinds. You have,
like, oh, hey, what's up, now, Luis?
You get the paranormal investigator that's afraid of the things that go bump in the night. So
yeah,
now and again.
Yeah, but Justin's video I thought was really cool that he had gotten that. It was just him and his wife, and then me and Jamie.
He's the one that had the or they had the son that was here for the Bube, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have another video with him. Shout out again down in the catacombs when I very first run of the investigation. He had the SLS camera pointed down towards one of the barrels, and well, I'll talk about what happened after if you want to click that video.
If you're too shy, it's
Somebody's feet.
if you're too shy.
Come on. Raise your hand.
Turn that flashlight on if that's you in the picture.
If you're too shy to raise your hand, say it's okay. No, it's not.
Dude, this thing's like on the way now.
That's pretty big too.
Yeah, it's got to be right in front of you because of how big it is. Like it's close to you. So I'm thinking it's probably right above the tunnel.
Well, raise your hand and high five me. Just standing there. It's creepy.
Probably staring at your eyes.
I don't know. It seemed like it moved when that noise.
Oh, well, right. Sorry. You know, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. No, anyway. He was touching my leg early. Don't let him lie to you. It was getting a little dicey here. But anyway.
Sorry, this got off topic.
Anyway, you know, but he was getting at, we had trigger objects, we had pictures, and I placed them all around. There was 3 of them. And I just placed them around down the catacombs, and I put like a cat ball in front of one, a flashlight, and just set one of those things off. And it was back at this barrel against if anyone's been down here, the catacombs, 43 feet down in the wall. And it was over there to the left. And it was just standing there. We validated it was no one else. Raise your hand, do this, jump up and down, do jumping jacks, dance, sing a song, whatever. But then I actually walked towards it because I wanted to see, you know, how it was compared to me, and it was gone. Never got it back. So, you know, was it looking at that picture? Because again, we had pictures down there. Who knows? So it was kind of cool. They were really excited to use that.
And I want to point out, and I want to shout out to the son of those 2 guests. Was incredibly excited and very proud of his participation.
He was the first one to get one.
Yep, he got a certificate. He's shown his certificate off, and we look forward to having him back.
Parker.
You know, Parker was his name.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Parker.
Yep. We look forward to
Thumbs
having him
up.
Yeah.
Where are we going after
And then
this?
I was gonna say you and Dale were partnered up.
Me and Dale were up, but I was blocking the whole
You're
night.
partnered up.
I know he took my husband
I
from
had
me.
think about that.
Well, I mean, if you see his pirated Facebook page, you can see why.
Very true. Very true.
That was stolen.
Dale had his Facebook page hacked, and he is this gorgeous woman now.
Name Dale too.
And Dale, it's the weirdest thing ever. But he was my partner for this past weekend, and he got plenty. Dale, when you had a bunch up here, right?
Correct.
And I stayed away. Like I stayed literally at the opposite end of the room because I felt like I was blocking. So when the bosses showed up, I had to, you know, kind of schlep up to them, be like, look, you know, I'm not, you know, like being derelict in my duty. I just, you know,
Did you just say
I'm
derelict?
derelict.
Are you having your dinner?
I was like,
You're
what?
eating?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And you know, but Dale was having, you know, good encounters with back here, right? back in this area.
Nothing on the other side too much, but Ani, she's above the flashlight.
And then for whatever reason, when we were gone in the last section, because I think we were all in different groups, so like we were all in different areas. Neither of us were in the same area at the same time. Yeah. And it was tough for us. Like we got nothing downstairs. Very little in the catacombs.
But at least
a
you
little
got
bit
three investigations.
Hold on, I forgot to say too. So when it was Justin and his wife and Jamie and I in the Peacock room, we were kind of Peacock room.
Did you check on asparagus?
Yes. Well, we had his death certificate out on the table, and we were really calling him out. We were like, "Here's how. Well, this is what it says. You died." Like whatever happened, but what's the real reason? So we were really trying, like, antagonizing him.
Poking the bear.
We were yes, and we all heard like thuds up, like so we were the floor down from where we're at right now, and we heard thuds coming from up here in the ballroom. Nobody was up here. It was just Jerry kind of cleaning up in the back hallway, or he was on the opposite side of the room. So we heard these. It sounded like military boots, like very thud and heavy and like coming from up here. And when Jamie came up, he said nobody, like Jerry was on the other side of the room, so nobody else was
maybe
up
Eloise
here.
Is prepping for me.
Yeah, I don't know if he was kind of pacing in the hallway where Ani and Tekla, like where their rooms were, but it sounded like he was like pacing back and forth. And he might have just been angry at us too. But that's all kind of what we got when we were in the Peacock room, which is the room where he died in, and he choked on asparagus, if anybody doesn't know.
In the Peacock.
Yes, in the Peacock room.
Peacock
at Bube's Brewery.
At Bube's.
But yeah, that was another exciting thing too. I think our group, we got a lot, and the guests that were here with us were very, like, they loved it. They were very interested in everything that we had and asking questions, and that's what we love about this, is when you participate and you ask the questions and help us. Like, it's your investigation when you're here. We're here to help guide, and they were all invested and loved using all the equipment. So
Dale said he can only last about 15-20 minutes. So,
okay. So
want to make sure that you understand. He has a certain time limit. He has to go to bed.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Is there any comments at all?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Nothing's coming up.
If anybody has questions,
what we gotta say? Let's see here. Hello from Marietta. Well, hello, we're in Mount Joy right now, but hello. That is Ron. I'm gonna Roden, yeah. Hey, Ron. And then we got Albert. Wow, again. Congratulations. I can't wait to investigate with you again. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. It's fun times. Hope you guys are doing well. Yes, it's Nagle. Yes, BK. Yes.
I was gonna say, was there any other pictures that we had, or was it just those two videos? I think that. Oh, yes.
Yeah, we do have a couple of EVPs.
So this was from the investigation on July 9th. Some EVPs that were taken back in the girls' bedroom area. I think that's where the recorder was left, was in the hallway. And not a lot of the time we head back there. So I think at this time, nobody was even back there. And I'm sorry, Chad left his recorder. So
the first one, Melissa was there.
Oh, was she? Okay. So if we want to go ahead and play the first one, Melissa was back there. I think she was just asking questions.
Oh, she was back there, all right.
I'm disappointed. I'm looking for talk to Uncle Henry. What?
So if you want to make a comment, see, and tell us what you think you hear, let us know, and then we can tell you what we think it was said. But
anybody will comment. I suck at those.
Yeah, it's really hard. You just have to listen and
suck at those
closely and hear it multiple times as well. Yeah.
We have one more audio, don't we?
You're gonna play it? Yeah, just play it one more time and see.
I'm disappointed. I'm looking for talk to Uncle Henry. What?
Yeah.
Who was that? Is that Jerry talking to you? They were saying what to?
Yeah. So she had said,
Henry.
I'm disappointed. I'm not sure if you had left. Did you say you had left like candy or something back there for the girls? Okay. So Melissa was giving her lollipops, but I don't know if she just wasn't communicating with her and she had said she's disappointed. And you hear a little girl's voice. And I think we came up with, she said, why?
You're not supposed to say.
Well, no one commented, so now I'm going to tell them.
Well, they could comment once they got to watch it. Well, what are you doing? You're spoiling it. Jeez.
Well, I'm sure they're intrigued anyway. So she had, what we heard was why, and then Melissa had walked away to go talk to Uncle Henry.
She walked out.
Yes. So that's what we had gotten out of that one. And then you can go ahead and play the second one that we got back, I think in the same area.
It's amazing.
Did you hear anything in there?
I told you I suck at these. I
got to hear these last week, so I know what they were, but I want to know if you heard anything, or if anybody that's watching has heard anything.
I'm terrible at them too. Like I have to admit. Listen, I show up at your house with a flashlight. That's it.
Yeah,
very true. So, yep, go ahead, run it one more time. And just... Yep, right there.
I need headphones.
Yes. I mean, that's a good way to listen to as well. So, yep. So, partway or towards the end there, you can hear someone say hurry, like 2 syllables, hurry. Or Henry. Yeah, that could be Henry.
That is the one I look at.
Yeah. So, see, like we listen and we think we might hear something, but someone else could hear something else and it makes total sense too. So, yeah, it's definitely, they're very interesting to listen to and pick up on.
They are, especially when they're super clear.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Phasma, just because it has the echo, and coming back. For me, it's unique.
Yeah, when you get that clear, discernible word or even like what happened with Harmony, that was through
the Phasma
box. And it wasn't like her name is a common word that you would get through, and then for her to have complained about seeing, just a little context. Harmony is a young girl that came to us with her dad and her grandmother for a public investigation one night, and she was experiencing some issues down in the Peacock room, and with Mallory. Like you were there. You can tell the story.
Yeah. So it was me, Harmony, her grandma, and Chloe was in there as well, and we had the Phasma box going. She heard her name come. Well, first she told me someone's standing in the doorway, so I turned my chair, my back towards the door. I was like, no one's coming in here. If which she said it was. I think she said it was Eloise. That's who she thought was standing in the doorway.
Big. That's what she said.
Yeah,
it was like a big shadow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tried to block that, and I was just like, you can't come in here, whatever. And her name came through the Phasma box, and at that point is when we kind of just got everybody out of the room because it just, to me, it didn't feel safe, and she was upset, and so we kind of just avoided that.
But yeah, that was the night that I was Radio Dave, had him come down.
That was not you.
And and we all 3 stayed. We locked the door. We sent the kids upstairs. And we just went at them. And then I left, and then that's when I went back the hallway, saw the black, shadow in, starts out. Go down there. Don't be a bitch.
I felt like I was.
Yeah. So earlier in the night, I felt like seasick when I first went back. Very first investigation, had guests. I brought them back. They felt the same thing. So again, to deviate away because they heard me say it, I sent Jerry back. Jerry, go back here. Tell me what you feel. Why? Go back there. And he goes back, and I let him back there for a minute by himself and go back. He's like, it feels like swaying, and I'm like, seasick. He's like, yeah. So that was the start. So the third investigation is where everything got riled up. I went back. I actually pulled Chad back with me, and I just stood there. And like I said, and I told Chad, I said, it's like there's something's in front of me, and I said my choice words. I called him a bitch. I called him a coward.
That's when we were in the Eloise bar, and you were there, and Missy was there, and you were there.
Well, I was there, but then I ended up leaving because everything stopped.
Right,
It kind of calmed, and I went away. So I don't know anything after you guys.
We kept going, and we had the instruments were going off around the room, and then you got lost.
It was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
You were staring at me as I was confronting Aloise, and for those of you that don't know, like I can see Missy and her sister sitting here.
Yeah.
I
know. I figured her name too.
What, Lisa.
I was like, it's an L word. I was like,
hold on.
Linda.
Shout out to Lisa. She is our para chef.
Yes.
She makes some bomb ass food. Yeah, let me tell you. If you ever get to eat her food, woo! That's all I gotta say. We'll do it one time.
So we were getting confrontational. Missy and I were, and you were sitting next to Lisa.
Yes.
And
Missy was sitting next to her behind, like.
Right. She was sitting on the other side of her, and you just kept staring at me, and you weren't blinking. And I don't say this lightly. Like, this isn't something that.
No, it was scary.
Like, I took notice to it because I was cussing out Aloise, calling him a coward for messing around with a little girl. And
she was, she had said too, she was rocking back and forth, and both Melissa and I, Melissa looked up at me, and we looked over, and her eyes were black. Like, we couldn't see anything through them, and she wouldn't acknowledge even you. Melissa, I think you even tried to, like, you're like, hey, Lisa, and like she just stared at David.
It was a moment when the
I get
instruments were going,
talking about it. Like, it's so.
The instruments were going off in a circle in the room. Like, it was going around. The flashlights were going off, and the rumble box was going off in the preacher's quarters, and then all of a sudden it stopped, like Matt said, and then you snapped out of it, and you're like, so when are we going to start confronting Aloise? And everybody just looked at you, and we were like, we've been for like the last 2-3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lost her, but we didn't lose her.
Yeah, like we had no idea where she went. She had no idea where she went. She just all I know is like there was somebody sitting there staring at me, and that's when you yelled like that her eyes were black. And then it was after that, it was the next session that we were there, like the next public that we were there, that Missy and I were sitting on the little couch on the and they had the flashlight coming out of the preacher's quarters and one on the bar.
That's right.
And they kept asking.
Because I was with you. And
yep. And they kept asking, is there anybody that you don't want here? And bam, that flashlight goes on out of the preacher's quarters and lights me and Missy up. And I'm like, yes. And then Morgan was with us.
Yeah.
In that instance, and that really, really motivated young man from Maryland.
Yes.
He was there as well, but he was sitting in the preacher's quarters. So that's when it went from like we were getting the call and answer from the flashlights, and then we walked into the preacher's quarters, and that's when Morgan came over to the one side. Andrew was sat back, and they asked if there's anybody anybody that you absolutely don't want here, and the flashlight with, there were 2 other witnesses beyond me.
Oh, I stood in the doorway.
The flashlight comes rolling off the table,
and
hits the floor, and like obviously the energy of it hitting the floor, it was spinning around, and then it ends up pointed at me, and then it turns on, and I'm like, well, okay, thanks, Aloise.
He hates you,
but he needs to get in line. So, all right.
So we got the cue to, I guess, wrap it up.
So that's it.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, I know. We got to wrap it up.
That's no fun.
At Boobies.
Some of our.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, do we have any other comments that we need to get to?
Erica saying, hey.
Erica's watching us. Tom, Brian, Ron. Yeah. Ron, you and the family, hope everything's going well. You were, you're always close to our thoughts here with the group. So, and I just want to let you know that we're here at Bube's Brewery. This next weekend, we have a public investigation again.
The 13th.
13th. Yep, that's
sorry.
Going to be next Saturday. We have tickets are still available.
Yep.
And all you got to do is go to the Bube's Brewery website. I think that's what's up right now.
Do they have boobies there?
So we regress it. On that note, we're just gonna end it.
I just got vapor lock.
Say,
We'd like to thank the folks at the Shanley Hotel.
Thank you guys. Yes.
Thank you for having us.
oh, and Hershey
And Hershey
for giving us candy for the parade that we're gonna be in as well.
Hershey
So
sponsored us.
Yeah, we want to get first place again.
Absolutely.
So,
in the Columbia Halloween parade, which happens probably the week before Halloween. Last year it was on. I know last year was on the 27th, and that's it. That's it for this episode.
All right. So just want to I'll just end it with our motto.
Thank you.
Boobies!
Oh, not boobies, but just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So hope everybody has a good evening, and we'll see you guys in September.
Thanks,
See you. Bye.
Thanks, folks.